What's up? Welcome back, all 8 people who watch this show, to another edition of Wrestling in the Basement. Thor rolling solo tonight. Brian's out catching Pokemon on Pokemon Go. So I got a little co-host with me, Dukers, co-hosting. You know, why not? He's got good insight. He watches a lot of wrestling. So let's get right into it. Raw, January, what the fuck? Raw, July 11th, 2016. It was a hot show tonight. Like, I gotta admit, this is probably one of my favorite Raws that we've had in maybe the last 4 months. Something like that. It was a good show, top to bottom. So let's start it off. Top of the show, Battle Royal for the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. You had teams like the Ascension, the Social Outcasts, the Dudley Boys. Who else was in there? There were a bunch of tag teams. None of them mattered. It was going to come down to freaking Alberto Del Rio, Dolph Ziggler, Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, and Darren Young. And, like, we were pretty much sitting here thinking, for sure, Dukers, you thought for sure, right, that it was going to be Apollo Crews or Baron Corbin. But it turns out Darren Young wins the fucker. It was amazing. It was amazing. Bob Backlund was out there, who's been doing that. They've been doing that whole, like, make Darren Young great again thing. And it's been working, you know. Like, I haven't loved all the segments. You know, Bob Backlund's kind of old and crazy. But it works. And having him win this number 1 contendership worked. Miz was on commentary, did a good job, had his wife out there. He actually is really good on commentary, which is surprising because he's not good at a lot of things. No, I'm kidding. Miz is all right. So Darren Young wins, surprise win. I liked it. Crowd seemed to like it a lot. So we'll see what happens. He gets a shot at the IC title at Battleground. Then we went into a backstage thing with Stephanie and Shane. Rollins walked in, says he has footage of Roman Reigns, like, disparaging the WWE Universe and saying he's not sorry for the suspension. He wants to do this new thing called the Rollins Report. And Shane and Stephanie are kind of talking about why Vinnie Mac's coming, because Vince McMahon returns to Raw tonight. We'll get into that later. It was a decent backstage segment, nothing great. It was pretty funny, though. The Rollins stuff was pretty good. Him and Stephanie always work well together. And then Shane O'Mac kind of plays into that whole scenario. So it worked for me. Then we got Sheamus versus Zack Ryder. I didn't really love this match. I'm kind of over this. But Sheamus wins. Rusev comes out, crushes Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder challenged him to a U.S. title match, and he put him in the oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking right now on Rusev's finishing move. Not the Accolade. Maybe it is the Accolade. Whatever. He puts him in his finishing move, and he's like, says, I accept, blah, 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 blah. Then we had a surprise good match of the night. Breezango versus Lucha Dragons. I've been loving what they're doing with Tyler Breeze and Fandango, making them a team and having them do the whole, like, pretty boy thing. It is working way better than the Golden Truth thing's working. It might be the second best tag team thing working besides New Day. New Day and Enzo and Big Cass. Then I'd almost say Breezango is working almost to that level. They have the potential to work to that level. Let me clarify a little bit. Breezango wins, which I like to see. Lucha Dragons were good. Kalisto had a bunch of missteps in the match, though, again. Missed a second rope jump. He just had misses. They're not sharp when they're in the ring trying to jump off the ropes all the time, which happens when you're trying those maneuvers, but it's too frequent, during shows, especially live shows. House shows is one thing, but when they got the pay-per-views, when they got the Raws, you kind of have to hit them, and they've just been missing more than they've been hitting. That's all I can really say. Dukers, you got anything to input? No, we're good? All right. So then the Rollins Report comes on. He comes down. They already have like a news footage thing cut for it, which if they just announced it tonight, how'd that happen? But, it's TV, so we accept this. He shows a video that's obviously edited with him doing questions and taking different answers from different interviews of Reigns. It was hilarious. It was Seth Rollins being fun, which you need to see more of. And then Dean Ambrose comes out, and we got to see something we don't really get to see is Dean Ambrose be more serious. Talking about he's the backbone of the company. He had they had some solid mic work tonight. The two of them. Rollins playing the goofy part, and then Ambrose playing the more serious, like, angry role for certain parts. You could see him getting all crazy, pacing around. His face was twitching and stuff. Like, it was definitely a good segment. Then we got probably maybe match of the night. No, not match of the night. Yeah, maybe match of the night. You got KO versus Cesaro. Sami Zayn comes out to do commentary. KO's music hits. He doesn't come out. They cut to backstage. He won't come out unless Sami Zayn's removed. So they remove Sami Zayn. He comes out, has a decent match with Cesaro. He ends up winning the match. But then afterwards, he takes Byron's headset off, gets on it, starts talking about he's the best, and then immediately goes and Sami Zayn jumps the barrier, tackles him, and it was pretty crazy. I was actually pretty impressed with that whole scenario. That was probably a segment of the night for me. So then you had Heath Slater versus Titus O'Neil. Who cares? I fast forwarded it. I didn't care. Titus O'Neil won. It was inconsequential to me. Low part of the night for sure. Renee and Sasha Banks backstage, decent segment. Two hot ladies talking about her beating up Dana Brooke. That's all she could think about. She had to drop even when she was watching her cousin Snoop Dogg on Family Feud, which I didn't love, but I understand why they go that angle. Then you had the New Day at the Wyatt compound. This is a throwback to last Monday. So, I know I didn't do one last Monday, but the Wyatts got challenged to come to Bray Wyatt's compound by the Wyatt family, and they actually accepted. And they shot what was almost like a no-holds-barred street fight outside of this compound with, trucks with lights all around. And it was a pretty brutal fight. It ended up kind of no decision, I would say. New Day just walked away because all of a sudden the truck lights shut off and there were a ton of dudes in sheet masks. And then there were a bunch of Firefly lights out in the distance. It was pretty cool. It was really creepy and very intense. It was a really good segment. I love what they're doing with this feud because it didn't make New Day look weak, and it made the Wyatts look all that more intense and insane, So it was, Duker's, was that your favorite part of the night? I think that was Duker's favorite part of the night. Mine being the KO stuff, his being the New Day. Then we got Enzo and Big Cass versus the Club. This was a pretty good segment too. Shit, that's what I'm saying. I love this Raw. This was a good Raw for me. Enzo and Big Cass came out after the Club. They threw down on the mic, said a bunch of. They didn't have an extended segment, but Cass talked more than Enzo, which I thought was interesting. And then they ended up winning against the Club via disqualification. Cena comes out. He wasn't supposed to be there. He was supposed to be in LA getting ready for the ESPYs on Wednesday night. But he shows up, runs out, does his thing. They clear the ring. They're in the ring. Club's outside. Obviously, show a strength from them, which I loved. And having Enzo and Big Cass win, but win by disqualification makes sense as well because it makes Enzo and Cass get a win over the Club, but not a pinfall win. So you make them look strong, but not that strong type thing. It was a well put together segment. Dana Brooke versus Sasha Banks, they let this one go a lot longer than they normally let women's matches go, and it was better than most Monday Night Raw women's matches. Sasha wins, so I love the match. She was wearing yellow and pink, looking super smoking tonight. So that was a good match. Her and Charlotte had some stuff on the mic after the match it didn't work. I don't know what it is about Charlotte right now, but God, I hope they put that strap on Sasha. They've been plugging the draft heavy all night. They plugged the draft. Vinnie Mac's back to announce the commissioner for both Raw and SmackDown, and a little bit more. So we finally get Shane O'Mac comes out, then Stephanie comes out, then Vinnie Mac comes out, talks about how they haven't been ruthless enough, they haven't been tearing each other apart enough. He wants slitting throats and stabbing in the back. He pretty much wants Game of Thrones, and he's been getting, Powerpuff Girls or something like that. But so he announces Shane O'Mac's going to run SmackDown. Everyone goes crazy. But then he says Stephanie's running Raw, which I kind of figured that's how they were going to cut it. I thought there might have been a surprise Triple H runs one of them, but Triple H is going to probably keep over on NXT, cruiserweight stuff. He's running a lot more behind the scenes, so let the two siblings battle it out. And Vinnie Mac wants a true battle, ratings, merchandise, Twitter, internet stuff, pay-per-view events. So this is going to be a full split. I don't know if they're going to have separate championships now. There's going to be a SmackDown champion and a Raw champion. It's going to be interesting to see how they work all this. But then Vinny announced next week they have to pick GMs because they're going to be running the whole show. So now they have to pick general managers to help them run each individual show. Now this is going to be interesting as who the general managers are because I would like to see Triple H maybe be a general manager on SmackDown. Like Shane O'Mac picks Triple H and then leave Stephanie with who knows, and then maybe Vince picks someone for her that she hates. Because you'd want to have Stephanie have someone she didn't like, and Shane will pick somebody to screw Stephanie. It would really work well. I hope they do it, but we'll see what ends up happening. But like I said, for this Raw, A-. A- Raw, which we don't get a lot of A- Raws, so I'm going to take this one for what it's worth. I had a great time. Maybe seemed a little fast because I am in a little bit of a hurry. I got to make it to the airport in a little bit to go pick someone up that's arriving. But either way, I love Raw tonight. Wednesday night, episode 61 should go up. I'm going to do the NXT and the Cruiserweight Classic first episode's going to do a recap for both of those. SmackDown Live next Tuesday. Star Wars Rogue One trailer on Friday. Celebration this weekend. Comic-Con next week. Oh my fucking God, it's a fucking nerd palooza over here. I don't even know. But Wrestling in the Basement, I think episode 5, something like that. Until the next time, double deuces for Dukers. One for me and one for Dukers. Deuces.